challenge that we've got in the ocean is the ocean is basically a marine desert, just like in outback Australia, most of it. So we need, all the nutrients are about 300 metres below the surface. And we need to draw those nutrient-rich waters, cool waters, to the surface. Now, we've got a major annual sea surface temperature anomaly, which means that the ocean's taking in 90% of the extra global warming heat. So we actually need to reverse the ocean temperatures as well. So we've got high ocean temperatures, increased ocean acidity, so open ocean seaweed farming can reverse all this. And I'm going to show you how it can be done. This is a documentary with Brian von Hertzen, which explains the model on how to draw those nutrient-rich waters to the surface.
The pump rig begins with high-strength ocean-going buoys. Hanging off them are tubes made of high-strength plastic. 1,000 feet long, they reach all the way down into nutrient-rich layers of water. As the buoys rise on the waves above, a column of deep water is pulled up the tubes to the surface to provide a steady diet of ocean fertilizer to turbocharge plankton growth. The pumps could boost ocean life in barren regions, but ultimately, there's an even bigger goal. Vast numbers of ocean pumps could raise levels of plankton so high, they'll create immense blooms. These super blooms could capture enough carbon dioxide to take a real bite out of global warming. And when the plankton die, a hefty percentage of them will take the carbon dioxide to the bottom of the ocean.
No one has ever tried to pump using wave energy water from 1,000 feet deep up to the surface. So this is really a new development in that sense.
If Brian can prove his theory, huge pumps could be manufactured and deployed throughout the oceans of the world. Around the site, divers report a startling amount of sea life. It seems like a different ocean from the one they left behind 2 weeks ago.
We've got birds out there, we've got fish. It's really exciting because it's a good sign that there's a lot of productivity here.
Have the pumps succeeded? Has all this sea life been drawn here by a man-made plankton bloom? Out of the blue, a young whale shark. Adults are the largest fish in the oceans, and they feed exclusively on the smallest creatures, plankton.
And what is their temperature difference? It's about 2 degrees.
Data shows the temperature falling as deep cold water reached the surface. The data peaks line up with the pulses from the pump strokes. No question, pump 2 worked as expected.
Pretty amazing, isn't it, really? So this seaweed open ocean farming model, you can hang ropes off the buoys the same way that you were showing there and grow the seaweed off them, or you can create a platform underneath. The first platform in Australia is being deployed in Tasmania right now from that 2040 film, which is quite incredible. So Brian von Hertzen, he came up with this idea, and we're trying to work out a way how to get that, because it's a lot of money to do it, basically. That's one of the big challenges. But it's 3,000 tonnes of 100 hectares per year, which is a huge amount of carbon dioxide that can draw down really, really quickly. And you cut the ropes, it drops the seaweed to the bottom of the ocean, which is that carbon stored for thousands of years. It cuts off that carbon loop, so it's not re-entering the atmosphere. It grows 30 to 60 times faster than any land-based plant, so we can start to reverse this really quickly. It reverses the ocean acidification, the temperature rise, reduction of severity in cyclones, because cyclones is based off ocean temperature rise. Create a buffer zone for coral during marine heat waves. We can line the Great Barrier Reef with it and protect it from those marine heat waves for coral bleaching. CSIRO and Meat Livestock Australia are doing trials right now. If you introduce 1 to 2% of seaweed in the cattle farming diet, it reduces their methane emissions up to 99%. Woo! Which is incredible. Yeah, that's what I reckon. Produces biochar for soil, so you can burn it. It produces a charcoal, you put that into soil. Produces bioplastics as an alternative to plastic. And it can be used as an alternative source of protein. If 10% of the ocean is used using this technique. We can draw down 40 to 50 gigatons per year, which is our entire global emissions that we emit per year. We can start to reverse this really quickly just using 10% with this technique. And it could obviously help to reverse the impacts and protect the Great Barrier Reef. There's two main methodologies. There's the blue carbon credit, where you drop it to the bottom of the ocean, and there's the product credit, as cattle feed. There's a lot of challenges though, like I was mentioning before. We got 5 million, cost 5 million for the first 100 hectares, 500,000 for every 100 after that. The current carbon price is too low to be a benefit, so that's when we have to put a price on carbon. There's leasing, renting ocean farms, and the cattle feed. There's a bit of an issue there because the industrial feedlots, it has to be fed to cattle every day. So a lot of cattle farmers can't get out to feed their cattle every day. It's very resource intensive. So the industrial feedlots are probably the only ones right now that can benefit off this. Projects in Australia, like I mentioned before, Tasmania are deploying their first open ocean seaweed farm. There's Dr. Pia Winberg down south in New South Wales, and she's doing a lot of health benefits on seaweed farming. The University of the Sunshine Coast, in conjunction with CSIRO and Meat Livestock Australia, they're doing research into the cattle feed. And then there's Professor Rocky Denise, he's doing the biochar, he's up in Rockhampton. So there's a lot of stuff going on, it just needs to come together a little bit more quickly than what it is. Overcoming the challenges, we have to find the right strategy. And then we have to divorce your old story and replace it with a more empowering one. Like I was talking before about the mindset change. Empower people. And then the key to achieving your state of mind to make better decisions is through your own physiology. So go for a run, do something that gets you out of your comfort zone. Because I know we're facing fearful times, but we have to start overcoming our fear so that we can achieve this. We can't just sit here and do nothing.